Hello, and welcome back to Conversations Over. This week, a conversation over holidays. It's that season already, and I just wanted to touch base with Tyler and let you guys know what our favorite holidays are, what our favorite holiday traditions are, and really just go from there. I'm Garrett,
I'm Tyler.
and let's get right into the news. Can we say that? And do we say it every episode? Because I feel like we
Okay, I've made that joke before, and you said we're gonna get copy stricken. So,
But Keemstar didn't come after us, so I think we're okay.
I mean, for starters, it's an old joke. It's my joke, and you stole it. So, there's not really anything else. There's no follow up to that. I was just saying it's probably fine, but we have said it before.
I know. It's becoming a bit of a running gag at this point.
It should
just like how
probably
you start all
gag.
your episodes with "Hi, hello."
That's how I start all my phone conversations as well.
Okay.
Actually, that's not sure. It depends. I check caller ID. I'm like, hey, what's up?
I usually start my phone calls with, "Yeah, what do you need?"
Yeah, for me it depends. I'll answer calls if I don't have the number saved. I'll answer a call, but I never say hello first. Because if it's someone that wants to talk to me, they'll start talking. If it's someone that's waiting for me to say something to like trigger whatever, I'm like, nope.
No thanks.
I'm not smart enough. Alright, so before we get into this holiday talk, what time are we trying to game tonight with the drop of the new Call of Duty?
Oh, you're gonna just date us like that? I don't know. I guess it doesn't launch until 9, right?
Right. Anyway, my friends were talking like, hey, let's hang out today. And I was like, oh, I don't know, I got exclusive access to the new Call of Duty. And they're like, alright, so let's game. And I was like, I mean, I gotta play with my brother first. Like, he bought the game. It's like, gotta christen it, you know?
Uh-huh.
So they were like, alright, what time are you trying to game with your brother? And I was like, you know what? I'm on the air right now. I'll ask him.
How many of them are there?
How many other friends are there? I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be like 4 or 5 of us. Too many to play on one console. Too many that we have controllers for.
I was just, if we were all online, I could play at the same time as them.
I'm the only one with an Xbox.
Gotcha. So it's got to be co-op local.
Yeah.
How many controllers do you have? Just 2, right?
I have 2, yeah.
You're gonna make them bring their own?
Well, I would actually probably bring my Xbox over to his apartment because he's got a bigger TV.
Gotcha.
But the thing is, right? He used to have an Xbox there, but it was his brother's. But then his brother went home from where I won't say.
Yeah.
I think you know.
Uh-huh.
His brother came home, and so like he had to bring the Xbox back or whatever.
Gotcha. Well, if you want to play with them, then I guess we could play for like, I don't know, an hour or so, right at launch.
I mean, I can just play with them like tomorrow or something. Like, it's not a big deal.
Also true.
Because they're wanting to hang out at like 4-ish, like walk downtown a little bit.
Gotcha.
So I could
So
just come
that's
back
where
after
you're going
that.
after this?
Probably. It depends.
After this, I gotta write a capstone proposal for critical theory / practices.
A capstone proposal? That sounds fun.
Oh yeah, super fun. It's about my whole college experience, but mostly I didn't have one, so.
Yeah, that'll be a fun essay to write.
It's got to be like between 8 and 12 pages long. Not looking forward to it.
Yeah, like a capstone project here is like just like a big senior project. Is that just the same for like all colleges? Is that just a college thing? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but our program is not very well built for literature students, which means I have to create a very interesting project proposal and then get it okayed because everyone else can just be like, here's a 12-page research paper over my chosen concentration and or major. But when your concentration is literature, it's kind of too broad a field.
Right. Just doing a screenplay screenplay or something.
I'll most likely be writing about the role of gender and homosexuality within Moby Dick. So,
my favorite historical attitude towards homosexuality is whenever historians were reporting on like old Roman guys, and they were like, "Well, he lived with his male best friend for 23 years."
And when he died, he went into mourning for a year and a half.
Yes, sadly, he never had any kids and never married. I'm like, there's some dots that you're not connecting here.
Quite strange how that went.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why, in the original context of the Bible, people came to assume it was hatred for homosexuality because it was a rejection of all Roman teachings?
Maybe, but actually, if you look at the original writing of the Bible, it wasn't in English, right? And
Yes.
obviously this is just what I read somewhere. I'm not saying it's like a reliable source or anything, but apparently there was a mistranslation for what became homosexuality, and the meaning of the word that they used in their native tongue actually was like a pedophile, like pedophilia. And it wasn't about a man who sleeps with a man, it was about a man who sleeps with a boy.
Yes, that is much different.
And they were like, oh, gay is bad.
Yeah.
Love
That's
is
what
love,
the Bible
you know?
says. Right after,
unless they're underage.
Right after love thy neighbor, it says, except if they're gay.
Yeah,
then
I
fuck
think
them.
that's like the
But
third
don't actually
commandment,
fuck them
right?
because then you're gay too.
That's the third commandment.
It's the longest commandment.
Love thy neighbor unless they're gay, then fuck them.
But don't
JK,
actually fuck them.
right?
Because then you'd be gay too.
Yeah. Speaking of homosexuality, have you wished Jacob happy birthday?
I have. Wished him a happy birthday.
He's
Speaking
gonna
of
love
Jacob,
this part.
how do you like my my new streaks that I've been sending lately on Snapchat?
They're not, I don't know how you do it. They're amazing, phenomenal, 10 out of 10.
Appreciate that. I don't know what I'm gonna use for my theme tomorrow, so if you have an idea, please let me know.
Cars the movie.
Cars the movie? Okay, that'll be a tough one.
I might have put that out there too quickly.
Put what out there?
Cars the movie? Like,
yeah,
like,
you definitely have Cars the movie on the brain.
That was fast. Okay.
That was too fast. Are you thinking about Owen Wilson?
I can't say that I am, honestly. I did watch a movie last night, though, after I took a nap at 7 o'clock, so obviously I wasn't that tired when it was bedtime. But I was like, let's put a movie on. So I got on Amazon Prime, and I was looking at like the recently added, and I saw a movie, and I only played it because the cast. It had Ansel Elgort and Taron Egerton.
Good cast.
Yeah, it was like that's like the leading roles. There was also that one guy, Kevin Spacey.
Oh.
But that's a whole other podcast episode of like separating professionals and their personal life. But I mean, it was a pretty good movie, and I think it was based off of a true story.
What was it?
Huh?
What was the movie?
Oh, I didn't tell you the name. The Billionaire Boys Club.
Oh.
It was worth a watch, I'd say.
That is actually directed by Kevin Spacey.
Really? I'm not surprised.
Yeah, actually, that came out like immediately after the whole hoopla with Kevin Spacey started.
Gotcha.
There was like a movement to boycott the movie, and then that's what really led to that whole debate between can someone be a douchebag and still make art?
Yeah, which I mean, like I said, that's a whole nother podcast. That could be next week's.
Oh, boy.
But it was
Here's
funny,
your
right?
topic next
Because,
week.
huh?
I said it is your topic next week.
Yeah, there we go. But it was funny because they were in California, right? As like stockbrokers, essentially. They were in trade, and Ansel Elgort's character met up with Kevin Spacey's character, and he was kind of like a mentor in the whole game. was like, Kevin Spacey said to Ansel Elgort, he was like, come out with me to New York and we can be partners. And I was like, I mean, that's kind of funny, because, like, Baby Driver, that's exactly kind of what's happening. Obviously, it's a different profession, but, like, and I was like, I wonder if there's, like, a theory about this. And I was like, no, probably not. But I just made one, so it's an
Have you been
alternate
on
ending.
YouTube ever? There's definitely a theory about that.
Sorry, I have to stay hydrated. My head's hurting.
I understand. I'm also staying hydrated because I got a bit of a cold. It's no fun.
I don't have any coffee, but I made some hot cocoa this morning. It was tasty.
I've been drinking a lot of coffee and a lot of hot cocoa. I buy in bulk.
I need to purchase some French press filters. When I went to
French press filters?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So on the little thing that you push down, there's like a little metal filter that like helps keep like the coffee grounds out.
You're replacing yours?
Yeah, you're supposed to replace them every so often. I usually just like wash them really good. But then one time I had the bright idea. I was like, you know what? This came with 2 spares in the box, and so I was like deep cleaning it, and I was like, I'll just replace the filters, no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw them out, I deep cleaned the rest of it, and I go get the box, and the filters weren't there.
Mm.
And that was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, mine's novelty, so I don't know if I can replace the filter. So I just make sure I wash it really well every time I use it.
Yeah, it's alright though. Once I get my debit card figured out, I can order some from Amazon, as well as your Christmas gift. Boom.
Have you been
Christmas
home recently?
Holiday. We're back on it.
Right. But I wasn't ready to be on it yet.
Oh, that's too bad. Here we are.
Okay, well, I guess we can talk about the topic for a second. And I'll start with the easy question, which is, what is your favorite holiday? And is it even in the holiday season?
Thanksgiving.
So, yes.
Yes. Yep, it's coming up on us in a couple weeks.
2 weeks.
Is what a couple means. Smart guy.
Mm-hmm. 2 weeks exactly. You sounded uncertain, so I was telling you the actual timeline.
Yeah, so it's 2 weeks from now.
A full 14 days from today.
So it's 14 weeks from today?
14 days.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
2 weeks.
Yes. I am a math major, I can tell.
Excellent.
That conversion's easy. Now ask me about the conversion of how many minutes of paid time off I get per hour of working. That conversion is not so easy, but the answer, 2.5.
2.5 minutes per hour?
Per hour.
That's not bad, actually.
No, it's not bad at all.
Especially not being part-time.
Yeah.
Most part-times don't even get paid time off.
Oh, someone's playing music.
It's not me. I am playing with a basketball, though. It's deflated because I don't have a pump here, but
yeah.
I like to roll it around while we record.
I'm going to text the group chat. I think it's Abe. I'm not sure. I'm not certain.
It's not coming through on your mic.
It's not?
No. It might on your recording, but it's not through your,
Is it going to be an issue if it comes through on the recording?
I could probably edit it out.
Okay.
Can you see? We can both be quiet for a second, and we can see if it's giving you wavelength or not.
It is, but I also think these waveforms are arbitrary, so I'm not sure.
Fair enough. We'll see. I mean, you can text him and ask him if he'll turn it down a little bit. Anyway, let's talk about Thanksgiving for a second.
For sure, for sure. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
My favorite Thanksgiving food? It's
Oh,
gotta
yeah, I
be
feel
red
like-
hot applesauce, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, people don't know what that
It's not
is,
even a
but
question.
before we get into that, I feel like I should ask you what your favorite holiday is.
My favorite holiday is Christmas. Always
Okay.
has been, always will be.
Christmas? Gotcha.
Christmas.
Or we can hop on that in a minute. Back to Thanksgiving. Eileen's pepperoni.
You.
Sausage.
Okay, that we gotta stop the.
Yeah.
We'll just do that for 10 minutes.
we could we could recite the entire song.
We definitely get copyright strikes for that.
I don't think he's famous enough.
I think he is. He had a TV show on FX, which I still haven't watched, even though I've got Hulu access.
Do you have Hulu access?
Yeah, Katie's got Hulu.
Damn it.
She gave it to her whole family and nobody uses it, so you might have an in.
I might ask.
She'd definitely give it to you.
Alright, the music has been turned down.
Nice. On to Thanksgiving. Your favorite, also red hot applesauce, or as some people, Mom calls it, what does she call it?
Red hot salad.
Red hot salad. I was going to call it red hot casserole, but that didn't sound correct.
Speaking of casseroles, green bean casserole, it's good. It depending who
It
makes
is pretty good.
You gotta get it nice and crispy. It can't be like soupy.
Yeah, I don't like they just throw a cream of mushroom can in there
Yeah.
and baked it for not long enough. Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, it's like green beans, cream of mushroom, and some fucking breadcrumbs or like onion straws, and they're like, good. No, it's not, Susan.
Casserole.
But yeah, so obviously, turkey is okay.
Yeah.
Leftover turkey slaps, but like turkey
Okay.
on Thanksgiving dinner is like okay.
Before we get into what will definitely be salty meats, I just want to throw out that last week when we ranked candies, I did eventually tweet about it because Jacob told me to, and I was like, you're right, I did say I would. And then that douche immediately comments on my Twitter post and says, I didn't realize God tier was in the English alphabet.
Hey, it's okay. We called him homosexual earlier in this episode, so he's got his comeuppance.
I guess he did, you're right. Happy birthday, Jacob.
Yeah. I wish my birthday. Let me take a shot of tequila for me.
He's got some cherry vodka in his freezer. I'm sure he'll drink some of that today.
That he just bought today when it was allowed.
It was Mitchell's, actually.
Gotcha.
Who is already of the legal age.
Is it just those two living there?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if the other Jacob ended up moving in or not.
No, it's just a 2-bedroom. It's a lovely apartment.
I'm sure I'll
If
see
you ever
it
get the chance
here soon.
Anyway.
Yes.
Should
Anyway,
we,
my favorite Thanksgiving food.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, the red hot applesauce is delightful. However, I have to go with stuffing. Or as some
You do
people
like
call it,
stuffing.
dressing.
Dressing. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like as I've matured and my sweet tooth is kind of just like shrunk a little bit, I guess. Just that the more savoriness mixed with like the sweetness of like the raisins or the apple that's in there, depending on who makes it.
The sausage apple dressing is by far the best.
Yes.
I think the reason I like red hot applesauce enough to make it my favorite Thanksgiving dish is just because that's the only time we eat it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll have stuffing maybe once or twice more in a year, but red hot applesauce is Thanksgiving and Christmas only.
For anyone at home that's listening to this and is like, what the hell is that? I don't blame you because no one outside of our family that I've ever mentioned it to has ever known what it is.
Let me see if there's a recipe online.
Alright, you look for the recipe online
applesauce.
and I will recite the recipe from memory. You take Red Hots, you know, the candy, and you put them in a pot and you melt them down. And you add in some cherry jello, as well as applesauce. And then you let it set in the fridge. And it almost never sets properly. That's part of the experience.
It is.
You could probably freeze it and it would freeze better. I like set better that way. But I mean, that's about it. It's pretty easy.
There are recipes available online. People are making it besides us.
So what region is that from?
I don't know.
Because we've lived in quite a few regions.
Let's take a brief hiatus from talking about holidays as I try to figure this out.
Alright.
Where does red hot applesauce is what I googled. Not where does red hot applesauce come from, just where does red hot applesauce?
Yes.
Willis Farm recipe. Where does applesauce come from? Pink applesauce? Now we're getting into some weird, like, Urban Dictionary stuff. Retro inspired. Red hot applesauce. I'm not getting a lot of information on where it comes from. I imagine it's got to be like a southern thing or like a Michigan thing, right? Because his mom handed the recipe down and was handed the recipe, right?
Yeah, but she also has family that comes from like up north in Michigan.
Well, that's why I said
Okay,
Michigan or South.
So I'm taking advantage of, whenever you try a recipe and Google it, put like a 17-paragraph blog post before it. I'm taking advantage of that. I'm trying to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the blog post tells you where and when it comes from.
This one hasn't yet. Whoa, they said this applesauce would taste outstanding in cake. Huh.
Does it?
Sounds taste on cake, though. There's nothing for this one.
Yeah, none of the blog posts I looked at did.
They could make their own applesauce, right? Just so, because everyone's seen red hot and yellow. Yeah, I'm not seeing this anywhere.
It's not. That's true.
That's alright though, who cares? We don't need it. Moral of the story is it's really good. Y'all should make it sometime. But
Not seeing it?
yeah, maybe Christmas. I feel like it's more suited for
I didn't
Christmas,
either.
actually.
That was a rather fruitless endeavor.
See, that's hit or miss with me because I just talked about my shrinking sweet tooth, but
But only on
I prefer to have
Thanksgiving.
some sort of chocolate in my.
It is, definitely.
Chex Mix. Sorry, I
But my favorite
completely blanked out
Christmas
there.
tradition.
There wasn't
Chex
lag
Mix.
or anything. There was just, there was lag. It was just my brain and not the computer. But for some reason, I thought you said green light. I thought we were playing a game. Yes, I like M&M's
In
or
your-
chocolate chips in my
Gotcha.
Chex Mix, and we don't usually make like a sweet variety. But
Brain lag.
really, we should try and make some puppy chow. Don't agree with me before I finish my sentence.
Interesting.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I prefer my Chex Mix only savory.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, puppy chow. Puppy chow is really good. It's kind of Chex Mix because it's like the Chex cereal.
Well, I was agreeing with you really, not with your puppy chow, but we should also make some puppy chow. Yep. I think everybody knows what Chex Mix is and what puppy mix is. Puppy chow? What the hell do they call it? I don't know what it is.
Muddy Buddies.
Yeah, some people call it Muddy Buddies. Chex
It's
Mix
definitely
does
a regional
officially.
thing. But I feel like it's a regional thing.
It might be. I'm not sure. I don't understand a lot about the regions.
Yeah. Don't say the region though. There's a specific area that people refer to as the region.
What region is that?
It's you know where I went to school before this? Like up by the Chicago area?
Oh, yeah.
That's the region.
Is it?
Yeah, so someone from Indiana is like, yeah, I'm from the region. That's where they're from. That's what they mean.
Oh, gotcha. I'll never
Yeah.
ask someone that, and I'll never get that as a response, but thank you anyway.
Yeah, it was funny. My friends here were asking like where I went to school, and I was like, oh, I went to school in the region. And I didn't think they would know what it meant, but they all started to laugh, and I was like, so wait, that's like the thing people say. I thought they were like pulling my leg up there.
Just stupid?
They're like, no, we have some friends who say they're from the region. And I was like, oh, okay, they're those people. Cool.
Got it.
They also claim one of their friends has a famous mother, but I haven't met him yet, so I don't know how true that is.
Sarah Palin?
She's a cool lady, but no. She was like some like third string actress.
Third string actress?
Yeah, she like had a recurring role in like, I want to say it was Saved by the Bell or something. Like not a main character, but like a recurring role from like one of the classmates or whatever.
Right, like a Farkle.
Yeah, kind of. Although they definitely executed Farkle's character very well. As well as, what's the sister's name? I want to say Megan, but I don't think that's true. Morgan. As well as, like, when Morgan left.
Yes.
They're like, you're in your room for a good long time. Yeah. Great show.
What a great show.
I might watch it again here soon. Like, it's good for, like, background noise when you're, like, doing schoolwork or whatever.
Certainly. The holiday season.
There's a song that goes there, but I'm not gonna fall for it. What does the holiday season refer
It's
to?
the holiday season.
Okay, no, I said we weren't going there.
I was actually going to open the podcast with that, and then I decided not to.
That's a good call. I would have made you cut it out. But do you know like what the holiday season refers to?
I imagine it just refers to. I imagine it just refers to November and December.
Yeah, but I feel like it only refers to Christmas. Like, oh, it's the holiday season, like it's Christmas time.
According to Wikipedia, it only refers to Christmas.
Okay,
the Christmas season, also called the holiday season, often simply called the holidays or the festive season, is an annual recurring period recognized in many Western and other countries that is generally considered to run from late November to early January.
Okay, so it's interesting that we expanded it to include Thanksgiving, because that makes more sense.
Right. We're smarter than those idiots at Wikipedia.
They take place in similar times of the year. Like, the weather is usually pretty similar. Hopefully we get some snow for Christmas.
Yeah, I'm sure we will, because I had some snow on November 1st.
Yeah, see, but it was also 77 degrees out 2 days ago.
Also true. But that's just Indiana weather. It's stupid as shit.
Yeah. It's like barely in the 50s right now, though. It's supposed to dip down. It's supposed to storm all weekend, which is exciting.
That is exciting. I don't think it's supposed to rain up here at all.
Maybe we should try and talk on topic a little bit. I feel like I've kind of...
No one's here for that.
Driven the train off the tracks.
Well, we talked about the holiday season very briefly. Thanksgiving is great.
Yeah.
And I think the reason we like Thanksgiving more than a lot of other people like Thanksgiving is because we've never invited all of our family for the sake of inviting all of our family.
That's true. Thanksgiving, for me especially, is associated with meeting a lot of people like that are like actually like really cool people, like parents, friends from work kind of deal, because we've never been around family.
Right, it's about family, friends more than it is about family.
And so we get the experience of like meeting like air quote like distant relatives almost, without like the drama of like actually having family over. And
Exactly.
the few times that we do have family over, it's like the family we like because we went so long not having like the entire family over that now it doesn't even phase us to only invite the people we like. And I think
Yeah, we don't
it's
believe
just
in the social dilemma of inviting the entire family over, even the ones we don't like. So we just don't. We only invite those we actually want to show up.
exactly. And I think like it's just good food and good company. That's all you really need.
Exactly. But Christmas, you get good food, good company, and you get gifts.
Yeah, Christmas is a good one. And here this year,
And
I
that's
don't
what
know
makes
what it
Christmas better.
is. This year especially, I've been like really looking forward to Christmas. Um,
I'm dying for
like
Christmas to come, honestly.
like I'm listening to a few Christmas songs like when they pop up, like on my suggested music or whatever. I'll let them play instead of like skipping through them. And I'm usually a stickler for waiting until after
Wow.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I
But
haven't
like,
even started listening to Christmas music yet.
I've only listened to a couple songs. One of them because it's been stuck in my head since like October for no reason that's like at all. It's probably the most famous of our generation, I would say. The second one and the third one are both new songs from artists that came up on my Spotify release radar. And I was like, the first one I actually clicked on. I wanted to listen to it. The second one is like towards the bottom and it was just playing through. And I was like, this is pretty good.
So you just let it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just let it play through. The first one is All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. In case that
Of
wasn't
course it
obvious.
is. Because that's all anyone listens to during Christmas time.
Yes.
Honestly, it's one of my least favorite Christmas
It's
songs.
a bop. It's a bop, though.
You're right, it is a bop, but I don't care for it.
Alright, hear me out. And if I forget, someone can remind me. Podcast episode idea, bop or not, Christmas song edition.
Alright, absolutely. We'll do that here recently. Or here soon.
Yeah, recently.
I'm very sleep deprived. At least twice this week, Katie said, "Did someone punch you in the face?" And then she's like, "No, those are just the bags under your eyes." And I'm like, "Thank you. I'm glad you're the person I chose to live with."
I have like perpetual
These
dark
compliments
spots.
just keep coming.
They're not like bags. I will get bags sometimes, but like I have perpetual dark spots on like my inner eyelids. And I don't know if that's from like breaking my nose twice or what, but
No, it's just from not sleeping ever in your life.
That might be it. Speaking of Christmas, what are you looking forward to this year? What are you trying to get?
What am I looking forward to?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to get, except the joy of being around family, I guess.
Yeah, I get that. It's weird. Like last school year, when I like left for school or whatever, I was like fine. Like I see family like every 2 or 3 weeks, and I was fine with that. But like, I kind of figured after quarantine, I would just be like kind of over it and like good with independence, and I'm fine with the independence. But I do also find myself being like, oh, like it would be nice to get dinner with my parents. It's like missing them a little bit.
Yeah, you're never really quite as over family as you think you are. I think especially for us, because like we didn't have a standard family dynamic. You know, when we were growing up, it was like Dad would be home for like 3 months, and then we'd see him the next year because being in the military, that's just how it went. And now it's like, oh, he's free every week on these days, and it's like you really get to spend time with your family in a way that we didn't get to when we were growing up. And now it's like we like to go golfing, and we like to go bowling, and we like to like go to movies, which we haven't been able to do this year, but like we've got family activities that we just kind of pigeonhole into this late part of our childhood, in quotes, because like we didn't do a lot of it growing up.
Yeah, I guess I never really thought about it like that, but it makes a lot of sense, especially because, especially in like the latter parts of this summer, we went golfing like every week, and so like the family time was just like kind of there, and so now it's not
Mm-hmm.
there, and I'm just kind of missing it a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I know how you feel like when I came up to school the first year, I was like, yeah, some independence. It's going to be great. Because, I was a middle child. I didn't get to, like, go to school by myself or, I mean, for a while we shared a room. I didn't even always have a room to myself. And then I finally got that. And I was like, this is great. And then 2 weeks passed and I was like, God, where's my family?
And I mean, it's nice having like the video games and stuff because like obviously no one's ever like that far away, but it's still nice to just be able to be like, hey, like we're coming down for dinner. Like, okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. No man is an island, as they say.
Saying, but I'm sure someone said it.
You've never heard that saying? Jesus Christ!
I've heard that saying.
What do they teach you?
Math.
Fair. I have a math question for you.
No.
Right? So this is a weird thing that it just popped into my brain in 8th grade. Sorry, I'm looking up No Man is an Island to figure out who said it. No man is an island. It's literally from the Bible.
Okay, that's why then.
No, it's not. It's from a book by John Donne.
Okay, that's why.
From 1624. No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. No man is an island.
And that just means like...
It's super famous and people quote it all the time, and you should know it.
Could you break it down for me?
What do you mean, what does it mean? Do you want me I can write you a literary analysis of No Man is an Island.
No, I mean, you can just like tell
me. Let's get to the math question first.
My favorite holiday is Pi Day, March 14th.
I know it is. You do like Pi Day. I'll ask you what your favorite obscure holiday is after my math question. So think about that while you're thinking about math, right? So there's this weird thing I discovered in math where if you take a number and you square it, you get the square of the number. So if you take 9 and you square it, you get 81.
I am familiar with squares.
But so this is the weird part, is that if you take, instead of squaring the number, you take the number immediately below it and the number immediately above it. I'm referring to whole number integers here. And you multiply those together, you will get 1 less than the square of the number. Consistently.
Let me just test that theory out. So you're saying, like, let's go with 3, right? 3 squared is 9.
Uh-huh.
But 3 times
2. 2 times 4 is 8.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. I thought you meant like 3 times 2 times 4. I was like, that's not.
No.
But 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, 5, 25. So obviously I don't know what causes that. I've never like looked into it like that. And I'm sure there's some integral function that would explain it, or like a rule of averages, or some theorem that's like, oh yeah, here's this. It doesn't mean anything. It's not useful in any way.
Yeah, it's not useful, but it is interesting.
It is interesting. I'll give you that much.
Because it applies to any square number.
But I feel like it applies... I feel like the fact that it applies to square numbers has to apply more to the fact that you're like multiplying the numbers together or whatever. Right? So I mean, does it work if you take like 3 times 4, which is 12, and then 2 times 5 is 10, so you're 2 away. But what if you take 4 times 5 is 20, and then 3 times 6 is 18, you're 2 away again. Same pattern. 2 away, and the numbers are 2 away. See what I'm saying? So I think the pattern is more of that, having to do with the distance, the difference between the numbers that are multiplied.
The integer difference between numbers being multiplied?
Right.
Interesting.
So yeah, there's that for anyone that was interested.
Because I also have this weird 6 rule, right? Where if you multiply a 6 by an even number, you get the number in the 1 spot and half the number in the 10 spot, which is just a distributive rule, right? Because you're multiplying half of it by 12 or all of it by 6.
Okay.
But that doesn't do a lot. It's just a fun little way to do math faster if you know how to multiply 6 by evens.
There are tons of like little rules like that, or like ways you can look at a number and be like, is this divisible by whatever? And then like there are rules that you can check through really quick. And you're like, nope, okay.
I just discovered this weird squares rule in 8th grade, and it's been weirdly in my head since then. I've always been trying to figure out why it happens, and I still haven't.
Yeah, meanwhile, I still mess up like then and then, you know?
Right, because that's a weird rule. It's not as bad as affect and effect, because affect is to have an effect on something.
Right. Like cause and effect, right?
But then, right, like, is E.
Was affected by, is that an A?
That's an A.
Okay.
Or it's an A, depending on what the effect
on the context.
Is. Yes. What were we talking about before we got into math?
Holidays.
Oh, what's your favorite obscure holiday? That's where I was going.
That was like the follow-up question, but I feel like we were like mid-discussion. This happens with me all the time, no matter what I'm talking about or who I'm talking to anyways, so it's fine.
Which is why it's totally fine, because it's episode 5 and they're used to it.
Alright, my favorite obscure holiday? I don't know. Like, there's National Coffee Day.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun one. I don't really have a favorite obscure holiday, and I'm sure I do, and I'm just like blanking on it. But it might honestly be Pi Day, just because like it's a fun like math thing, and
yeah, Pi Day's a good one.
All my classes would be like, "Oh, happy Pi Day."
I like Leap Day. It's not really a holiday, so much as it's just that weird obscure thing that happens every 4 years.
It's a phenomenon.
I feel like people don't celebrate Leap Day enough.
There's a show in which they make a huge day about Leap Day. A huge deal about Leap Day. I forget what show it is, but it could honestly be Boy Meets World.
It probably is.
It seems like a Sean kind of thing.
It does. Or a Topanga kind of thing. Anyway, great show.
Yeah. Yeah, Leap Day's a fun one, and that's again just caused by people being bad at math.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, also, just winter, right? Winter kind of bookends the year.
Of course.
Because it's like November through like February.
Because that's how we decided to divide the year.
But it's not. Fucking Julius Caesar, who decided to have 2 months named after him, ruined it for everyone. Right? Because it expands into the next year by 2 months. And this is the same reason that like December and November and October.
October.
sorry. I'm not all here, but you see what I'm saying? Like the prefixes.
Right, because they used to be.
Because it used to be like 8, 9, and 10.
Numbered correctly, yes.
And then he was like, oh, August and July. Like, no, fuck you, first of all.
Well, he was July. Augustus Caesar was.
Right.
Right.
Isn't like Augustus Julius Caesar like one person?
Well, yes, Augustus Julius Caesar is a person, but Julius Caesar and Augustus Julius Caesar are not the same person.
But they're both, like Julius Caesar and then Augustus Caesar did it separately?
Yes.
That part doesn't matter. Fuck them both.
Because yeah, fuck them both.
We would have started, sure, technically still in winter because the spring solstice equinox? The spring equinox isn't until like March 22nd or whatever. And I think it depends on the year. And I'm doing hand gestures that no one can see.
Of course.
But like because it would have technically started in spring. And spring, summer, fall, winter, and then a new year. But no, now we have like winter, spring, summer, fall, winter.
But then wouldn't the months have been a weird length also?
I mean, I guess technically, right? Because the 365 days doesn't change because some douchebag wanted to add a month in there.
Right.
So I mean, 365 divided by 10 would be like 36 and a half days.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, but I'm sure you could alternate between like 36 and 37 and it would balance out.
Then we could have a leap day every other year instead of every 4 years.
Yeah, or we could just do the math better and have like...
Nah, fuck that.
Fuck daylight savings also, while we're here.
Yeah, fuck Benjamin Franklin.
Lots of people did, right? Isn't that like his thing?
Yeah,
Like
and he might have had syphilis.
Yeah, my man.
Yep.
Up top.
Anyway. My favorite obscure holiday, of course, is National Left-Handers Day.
Yeah, I kind of figured it would be. It's whatever.
On August 13th.
When is it?
August 13th. It was chosen to be August 13th because when it was developed, the first year it was celebrated was also Friday the 13th. And, you know, people are superstitious about left-handed people. So it was just a little bit more fun that way for them.
Yeah, that's fair.
I have to calculate
I mean, is it just
how
because
long
you're
it
left-handed?
actually...
Is that the only reason you're into it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's kind of weak.
Yeah, you're right. Why do you like Pi Day?
Math.
Yeah, kind of weak.
I could outbench you. Shut up.
I don't think you could.
I could out-squat you for sure.
Right now, absolutely.
It's always remarkable, right? Like, I'm in physical therapy. That's not remarkable. That's sad.
And pretty average for you.
Yeah, it's pretty on par for the course. But I'm at my eval, right? And the nice lady, her name was Emily, was like, I want you to hold your left arm straight out and raise it straight up without bending your elbow. And I was like, okay, like that's not...
That's pretty easy, yeah.
Just raising my hand.
Did it.
I've been practicing my whole life.
Well,
like,
no,
right,
usually you do that with the elbow.
And she's like, now it's a right arm. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, you're really flexible. And I was like...
Because I can lift my arm up?
And I was like, I'm sorry, what? But I
Is that the bar?
I didn't say... I didn't say, like, really? I said, yeah, I guess. Because I am flexible. I am
right, but this
flexible.
isn't
But
why
this isn't
I'm flapping my arms like an idiot.
Right, and then she's like, do
Which
it to the
way
side.
did you... Yeah, did you do it to the side or did you do it straight out?
Straight forward and then to the side also. I can do it both ways, obviously.
Both of these are very easy.
Yeah. And then she was like, you're very flexible. And I was like, yeah, I guess. I didn't even say thank you. Like that, because to me it wasn't a compliment, it's an observation. And I felt kind of bad.
Right.
But
Not a very
we were joking
good one.
around. We were joking around the whole time, so like, she wasn't offended.
Mm-hmm.
But then she was like asking, she's like, were you a gymnast? And I was like, no. But I think she asked if I was a gymnast because when I went to the side, I added like a little wrist flare.
Uh-huh.
Because like that's a gymnast thing, but I also did it in diving for like a back approach, like 1, 2, up. And so I was like, no, actually I dove. And she was like, oh, I get it. That's probably why you're flexible. And I was like, well, yes, and yoga. And then we started talking about, she's like, where do you do yoga? And I was like, I'm actually really busy, so I just do it on an app. And she was like, that would be perfect for me. And so I recommended the app, which is Down Dog Yoga. They also have like HIIT routines. They have other apps now, but I'm only into the yoga one.
Mm-hmm.
But I recommended the yoga, and then further on down the road, we were talking more about my flexibility, and I was like, she was like, she made a comment like all divers were flexible. And I was like, well, like that's true to an extent, but like even compared to them, I'm still very flexible. I was like, there's not a lot of guys who can do like a full split. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, I can do the splits. And she was like, really? And this other gentleman who was in there, probably in like his 50s or so, was like, ouch. And I was like, it's not that bad. But like, just weird things like that. Like raising my arms and people are like, oh, you're flexible. And I'm like, not because of that.
My human body can do human body things.
Yeah,
everyone should be able to lift their arm up.
Like I'll be stretching and I'll be like, all right, touch your toes, and I'll bend, and like I'll have like flat palms on the ground with like my arms
put
bent.
your hands on the ground.
And people are like, wow, that's incredible. And I'm like, it doesn't
No,
cross
it's
my mind that it is
it's
impressive.
it's just stretching at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like I just do it. Like I mean, like thanks, I guess. And so when people are like, "Do you have any hidden talents?" I need to start mentioning that I'm flexible.
That you're flexible, because apparently that's a talent.
I mean, I guess it is to an extent. Like it's impressive.
Yeah.
I can also do a backflip.
That's pretty
I know what that
impressive,
was wondering.
honestly. I can't do a standing backflip yet. I'd like to. But
I gotta get back to a trampoline park. I miss it too
I
much.
know. I love trampolines so much. We almost got one, but then we didn't.
Yeah. They look, you might find one like on sale or something for Christmas.
They're
I
looking
put
for
it on my
a
list.
pool now, but I don't know.
I think I would rather have a trampoline. But also
You
none of us
would,
really home
certainly.
that much.
That's also true.
So I mean it doesn't really make sense as an investment, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's why I think they'd lean towards pool more.
Yeah.
Because that's something
Which
you
that's
could
fine.
do and enjoy. I'd love a pool.
I low key. It depends what time it opens. I was gonna say I might try and go tomorrow, but obviously I need a debit card, so never mind.
Yeah.
Spending money sucks. Although
It
it's nice
does.
having spent like 2 weeks not spending any money, my bank account's climbing.
Nice.
Yeah. Actually, I just got paid today. Got my direct deposit. Let's make sure it went through. Actually, I'm not gonna talk about it on air. That's weird. I'm not gonna talk about finances on the air.
Not again.
I'm just gonna check. Like this just reminded me that I should do that.
Mm-hmm. So do you have anything more to say about holidays? Now that we're at
Yeah.
the 50
what's your
minute
least favorite
marker.
holiday?
My least favorite holiday?
Yeah.
Halloween.
Halloween. Why?
I just don't care for it.
That's fair. I mean, I always has a dumb reason. Like, why? Because like that's not fair. I shouldn't have said that. But I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
I don't like the vibe of Halloween.
I feel like it's very
like-
much targeted towards little kids, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because when you look at
I
the
mean,
history of it,
there are adult activities for Halloween. Like, you can go to a haunted house or
get
go to a Halloween
sloshed.
party. Yeah, that's what I said. Go to a Halloween party. But I'm not old enough to drink, and I don't like getting scared. So Halloween just isn't a holiday I enjoy.
Yeah, that's fair. See, now it's fair. You gave a valid reason.
What's your least favorite holiday?
Okay, I was gonna talk about Halloween for a second, if you don't mind.
Okay, you can do that. Go ahead.
Like when you look at the history of like All Hallows Eve and how it's like a pagan holiday.
Which a
Like,
lot
it's-
of people do, I'm sure.
Like it's, I mean, yeah, everyone does that. Like it's really cool, and like the history behind it is neat and fascinating. You should look into it. But the fact that now it's just kind of about little kids dressing up and getting free candy, I'm like, okay, that's whatever. I'm too old to trick or treat, too young to go party.
Yeah, that's the
But-
commercialization of Halloween.
On the other hand, I do like to be scared because like anything that'll trigger my adrenal glands, I'm all
Adrenal
about.
glands?
And so I'm like I do really good at putting myself in the mindset of being easily frightened and available. I'm not gonna like overthink the situation and like
Overanalyze,
predict where
yeah.
they're gonna be and be like,
'Cause
oh,
that's
what's
less
the
fun
jump
for you.
scare? Yeah,
Right.
like I'm there to be scared. Like I know what I'm there for. And so like I personally like Halloween. I would put it in maybe my top 3.
Would you?
Just because I can't think of many.
Your own birthday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Father's Day, Mother's Day, Labor Day.
Yeah, these aren't like holidays in my opinion. I'm thinking like Easter, Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Valentine's Day, St. Patty's
New Year's?
Day. St. Patty's Day is a fun one. New Year's is alright. A lot of these holidays I feel like we can't fully enjoy until we're older.
Right.
It's like a drinking
Here's a little
holiday.
fun fact for you. We're both in sign language, right? Do you know the sign for St. Patrick's Day?
Pinch Day.
Yeah, pinch day. You pinch your arm and then you do the sign for day. I really like that.
Yeah, I think it's really
Do
cool.
you know the sign for Passover?
I don't even know. Passover is a Jewish holiday. I don't know anything about it.
Yes. Well, to celebrate, apparently you're supposed to eat unleavened bread. And if you know what unleavened bread is, it's basically crackers, right?
Oh, okay.
So the sign, you take your dominant hand and you knock on the elbow of your non-dominant hand, and then you do the sign for day, and it literally translates to Cracker Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
The sign for Halloween, I think it's like the sign for like scare or something.
No, it's the sign for mask.
Is it really? Okay, that makes sense too. I was like, that's just.
And now there's a new sign for
like
COVID masks. COVID masks is smaller hand. It's not full face. It's just over the mouth and the nose.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, but actually, I learned that like in my in-person class, because he was like, he did the sign for pinch and then day, and we were like, okay, but like, what is that? And then he like looked at all of us and he was like, he signed that we weren't wearing any green, and then he signed for the pinch again, and we're like, oh, okay, we get it now.
It's St. Paddy's Day. Pinch Day. Yes.
My least favorite holiday, since you asked, is the 4th of July.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like fireworks.
Yeah, they're not great, I'll be honest.
I mean, just like, believe it or not, someone that doesn't like loud sounds doesn't like fireworks. It's crazy. And sometimes
loud sounds and bright colors, not for you. Being colorblind and hard of hearing.
The bright colors don't really bother me, but like, I don't know, like loud sounds, and like especially when they're like incessant, it can just like overwhelm me, like sensory overload kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, I don't enjoy this at all.
Like a dog.
And that's something that I just realized a couple years ago. And like, this last 4th of July, we went to like a bigger party or whatever, wearing masks and stuff. Like, we were
in the middle of COVID season.
We were careful. Like, we weren't like, oh, let's just go.
We did purposely avoid all
hang
people
out. Like, we were socially distanced.
And we did sit by ourselves.
I think I talked to one person there that wasn't in my family.
I talked to Jacob.
But then after that, we went and like hung out with friends and like launched the fireworks ourselves, like the smaller ones. And like the smaller fireworks were fine. Like, that was fun. It wasn't too bad. But just like the loud fireworks and stuff, like, I'm not there for it.
Yeah, I get tired of regular fireworks very quickly. Like, I always prefer the weirder ones, like the angel flares.
Yeah.
The ones that don't make a loud noise, I guess.
Yeah, some of them that like whistle and stuff, those are cool.
Yeah.
And I can respect the science that goes into it, because like, holy crap, it's a lot when you think about it, like how they can get like the different shapes and the different colors. And the like timed explosions, like it's cool, but not for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Valentine's Day also sucks.
Yeah, it's stupid. Celebrate it the old-fashioned way by murdering your enemies in the streets.
Yeah, I personally feel like we should bring back public executions, but like
I never got rid of them.
You know, bring back the fucking guillotine. Bring back taking like
make it a show.
Yeah.
Our taxes paying for something, right?
Do you think we should allow death row inmates to fight to the death?
What's the benefit for the death row inmates?
Their sentence is extended if they win.
Okay, this is interesting, right? Because this did exist for a time.
I mean, that's like... that's gladiator shit, though, right?
Are you aware that this did kind of exist?
That's like gladiator shit, though, right?
No, this was more recent than that. Within the history of the United States, I'm going to just fact-check myself as I tell this story, right?
Alright, while you're fact-checking yourself, I'll just mention, because I brought up the guillotine or whatever, my favorite holiday is Guillotine Day. Look it up, it's there. The last guillotine murder was like in the 70s. Like, a lot of people were like, oh, it was a long time ago. Like, no, it really wasn't.
No.
When you think about it.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. Okay, so now that I fact-checked myself. 1911 in Wyoming.
It's a nice car.
This happened. We got to do an episode about cars, because I know you've got a lot of car opinions, and I have a few as well.
We can.
Um, we'll do that later. Somebody write that down. Jacob, make sure we do that in an episode about cars. 1911 in Rawlins, Wyoming, there was a death row baseball team. And as long as they kept winning, they were allowed to live.
Really?
So it did actually happen. Yes.
Why?
Because people liked watching baseball, and they were good at it. So they said, if you can continue to win, you can continue to live. But as soon as you lose, one of you dies.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
I mean, I don't... Like, okay. I mean, I was just kind of making a joke, but I mean, if people are actually down for it, I'm here for it as well.
People were down for it 100 years ago.
And you have to say, history repeats itself.
Surely. You know what else they say?
C'est la vie.
No man is an island.
Full circle.
Full circle.
I feel like
Do you have anything?
we're running dry here.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask if you had anything else to say about holidays.
Easter sucks. Why do we put things in eggs? Where does that come from? Why is it an Easter bunny, but also
I don't
eggs?
know.
Bunnies don't lay eggs.
It's quite strange, and frankly, I'm not religious enough to care about Easter. There's something about a cycle of rebirth that the egg represents, and they're hiding because Jesus was hiding from the Romans after he left the tomb, and then he ascended.
Right. It's like the third day.
And that's why it's a bunny, because bunnies jump up in the air a lot.
I'm pretty sure the ASL sign for Easter is like Resurrection Day, right?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure it's a modified Sunday sign, isn't it?
No. Not the way I was taught it. It was like, I forget it wasn't. I don't want to look it up right now. But it for sure had to do with like the rebirth. That's not important right now. Like that's.
The Easter sign I was taught is the Sunday sign, but instead of the regular S sign, you make an E sign.
That's not the way
because
we
it's
taught it.
Easter Sunday.
And I mean, obviously, like there's different.
Interesting. Right. There's different dialects of ASL.
Yeah, which ASL is super fun.
But if you don't have anything else to say about holidays, besides Easter sucks, you can start wrapping up. And one thing, usually we just wrap up by saying the ending of the podcast. But before we get to that, I do want to point out, as we come up with more ideas, that we have received a little bit of flack, by which I mean one person complained about it. And that is, we have a lot of things in our trailer that we have not talked about. And by that I mean all of the things in the trailer. So that would be a good place for us to find more episode ideas.
So, yeah, I mean, can you give me a rundown on what some of those are? I don't remember.
So, besides saying that you liked Harry Potter, which we said would be an episode and hasn't been one yet, I am on the record in the trailer as saying Princess Bride is one of the greatest movies ever made. And I have not backed that up yet. And we have not even discussed movies.
I mean, yeah. A lot of people who have listened to this podcast or know me personally know a lot of stuff that I say is forgotten as soon as it leaves my mouth. That's just the way it is.
True. Which is basically my long way of saying, join us next week where we will continue to ignore everything we've said in the trailer.
No, let's put it
and
here
instead
now.
Discuss some other random topic.
Whatever topic I said I was going to talk about earlier in the episode, because I know I mentioned something, but I forget what it was. We'll talk about something in the trailer. I'm not going to say what, because I haven't decided, but we'll talk about something that's mentioned in the trailer in the next episode.
So join us next week for something we
Yes.
pretended to have already said. Anyways, this has been Conversations Over Holidays, and I think we can call this conversation over.